Remember how when Brittany Higgins appeared at court, she was often flanked by two women? Most people assumed that they were her legal team, but they weren't. One of them was a director from the Labor-leaning Sydney government relations PR firm, Hawker Britton. She said she was one of Brittany's friends and was helping support her with the media stuff. The other one was Victims of Crime Commissioner for the Australian Capital Territory, Heidi Yates. She acted as an intermediary between police and Brittany Higgins during the whole investigation. And that's part of the role that she has in supporting alleged victims of crime. But there were concerns that because she was often by Higgins' side during the trial, that this may have had a negative effect on the perception of Bruce Lehrmann's presumption of innocence. Anyway, Heidi Yates was in the witness box at the inquiry this week, and a few things were revealed. Firstly, that Yates knew about Higgins' sexual assault allegation a month before she went public, that she accompanied her to meetings with Anthony Albanese and Scott Morrison. There's nothing wrong with that. And this is the slightly unusual bit, that before she met Higgins, she was told by an unnamed man who was a presenter at an event that he was working with a young woman who was about to make a sexual assault disclosure which would likely attract national media attention. He then told Heidi Yates that he was gathering messages of support for the woman and asked her if she'd provide one. Yates told the inquiry that she provided an email of just general support. A part of what the inquiry is considering is whether Yates acted in accordance with her relevant statutory framework, the rules that govern her position as the Victims of Crime Commissioner in the support that she gave to Brittany Higgins. Yates was asked about her decision to be so visible at court, walking beside Brittany Higgins past the gathered media every day, and whether this may have affected Bruce Lehrmann's presumption of innocence perceptions. She defended her actions by saying that she'd discussed it with the ACT Director of Public Prosecutions, Shane Drumgold, and that he had raised no concerns and nor had the Defence Counsel. Then she was asked about her decision to stand next to Higgins during the speech that Higgins gave outside the court in October, less than an hour after the trial was aborted. She said at that time she was making arrangements to return Ms Higgins to her accommodation. That was what was on her mind. She wasn't focused on what Higgins may or may not say in her announcement. She said the Victims of Crime Commissioner's clients make their own decisions about what they want to do, but she conceded that if she had reflected on it, she might not have decided to stand next to her so visibly. She also said that her role requires her to, quote, start from a position of belief of a complainant, and that in practice it'd be impossible to run a victim support service in any other way. And that is it for the public hearings. They've been adjourned now, so what is next? Well, the inquiry chairman, Walter Sofronoff KC, will now get a final written submissions from each party. Then he'll consider all that evidence. He might reopen hearings next week if he decides that some of those written statements need to be further examined. And the final report will all be handed down on July 31. If you enjoyed that content, there's lots more where that came from. The Other Side Australia is back every Tuesday and Friday on ADH TV and all good podcast platforms. It's your weekly short circuit summary of the best news commentary from Australia and abroad. Don't miss it.